What is going on, everybody? Otherworld Games is back with a bit of a fun one today. We have Zamasu Mill taking on the Child Gohan skillless battle card deck. We're both playing these decks for the first time, basically, so learning the ropes here a little bit. But there are some pretty neat interactions. Gohan's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve. So the leader for free lets you search top 5. Probably not the ideal target there. Grabbing that one drop Gohan, future Gohan. And we're gonna get a Dragon Ball, pitch a skillless, draw 2. So Gohan not afraid to filter here. Just trying to run his game plan, even though you got Zamasu Mill staring you down. Now Zamasu Mill is pretty much always going to drop down the Z-Uni, get to the awakened side. I think maybe the only time you wouldn't is probably against Kid Ku. They haven't awoken this early. I think you're safe from the counterplays, but subsequent Uni plays are going to be pretty vulnerable to the Kid Ku counterplay. So Zom Leader also able to search top 5 for any green god, but not without swinging. And yeah, sure, anyone who's played the deck is aware. So the leader on the awakened side will let you fuse with Goku Black from the drop. Just grabbing the energy marker there for Gohan. And then anytime you want to combo or pay Z energy cost, you ideally are using a Goku Black. Just throw it in the drop or cycle it for the fusion material. And then some of the Zamasus even let you throw it back in your Z energy to KO something. So pretty fun little loop there. Uni gets you the 1-drop dual character Z card for free with the skills negated. Late game, that can just be a 1 energy, I believe 15 or 20k dual attack crit, which is pretty crazy. The opponent has to have 20 in the drop, but you can start getting some good crit pressure and then fuse. So we will see the fusion from the drop. A little bit of fact checking going on there, but we will see the beginning of the mill. So right away, turn 2, as long as you're awoken, you can drop that Z Uni, play the Z card, ideally with a Goku Black paid for the Z Uni, and then fuse right into the 5-drop Zamasu, pretty much any of them. You gotta have 3 energy to go into the 8-drop, but slapping down the Patara right away on turn 2 gets the mill going. Now the Zamasu in the energy is a bit of a misplay here. So if Zamasu had saved that, you can drop the Zamasu 4-drop or the Goku Black 4-drop and come at your opponent for either the double strike or the critical. I don't think you play the double strike very often. Goes against the game plan, you're just kind of giving them cards. But if you get to swing at them for crit, you'll take that every day, and then they potentially leave that card alone for you to fuse on top of it later on. 4-drops do not have indestructible. 4-drops and the 1-drops. But the 1-drop also able to come down into mill only after you've awoken. Zamasu obviously at a bit of a disadvantage for red, but yellow has a lot of ways to just blank skills. And now so Gohan not afraid to filter, looking for the right pieces to deal with Zamasu. I think you gotta just aggro them down as fast as possible, unless you're red and can just kind of play the indestructibles. So we're going to pop the marker right away here, turn 2, for the skill drain Unison. Anything 5 or below has its skills negated. That does include on-play effects. It will not stop the leader from milling, and it doesn't stop anything 5 or above, obviously, but it also doesn't stop some of the mill for Zamasu that comes as part of the Union cost. But it does deal with indestructible, and it will turn off any of the negates that aren't dormant potential. So you have the King Piccolo negate and the Oceanus floodgate typically run in Zamasu that will blank both of those. Not the negate, but the floodgate. Now, interesting enough, if it even comes up here, the King Piccolo having its skills negated would actually not allow you to play a second unique copy, because the card in your hand that has unique will still be checking for another copy of itself, so it's still not possible to play multiple, even with the skill drain in play. So the Unison also will give a 5k bump to Gohan's skillless card, so those are swinging for 15. So Gohan's got 4 attackers and skill drain in play. Zamasu with nothing. Gohan's drawn a lot of cards, well, filtered a lot of cards really, but in a good spot here. Zamasu getting to work right away trying to take care of that uni. Yellow is tapped out, you don't have to worry about Nimbus here, so it is safe to swing your leader first, get that card draw, and see if you draw into something more favorable. Now, so of course you could combo Goku Black there and have it for the fusion, but we saw earlier the fusion pieces for the Zamasu that got killed are already in the drop again. Well, not the Z card, but the Goku Black. So Zamasu can pop off and go aggro if the tempo of the game is right, but you're really not always trying to. We're going to have the staple 5 drop for this deck, draw 2, make the opponent mill. And so I'm just trying to deal with that uni as fast as possible. The Z uni should have upticked. I believe they will catch that in a moment. So discussion going on here, because the uni will prevent the on-play effect. We're going to wind back the Goku Black because he will not really have any reason to play that here. Interestingly enough, for yellow, that will also hit your own on-play floodgate type cards like Riposte. But because the Vegito Counterplay Floodgate is an 8-drop. You can go ahead and safely play that in this deck. It's reduced in hand by the time it hits the board. It is an 8 cost, and will get around the skill drain. So yeah, no reason not to. Zom, just reading through his cards, go right into the 8-drop, turn 3. Ideally, you don't replay the uni here, so you get to still have an energy up for defense, or even just push more if you want. But so as a play the 8-drop, he mills you 2, and the leader mills you 1. Uni only upticks once per turn, but now you have big double strike body on board as well, and able to deal with that uni. Now, so we're gonna see it come up in a minute. The 8-drop can actually just restand itself one time by pitching the materials. So Zamasu didn't, I imagine, want to give extra cards to the Gohan player, enable any kind of advantage there, because you're just going for the mill. But you could have gotten another big double strike swing off there. Don't forget to, if that uni manages to live, has the on attack auto to restand and make a blocker out of a Zamasu, which is kind of cute. Doesn't always come up. Can be nice. So Zamasu able to battle right back, re-establish some board presence, get rid of some threats on Gohan's side, get the mill train going a little bit. And right away we're going to get token negate here. The leader will still get, on swing that leader gets to pitch 1 and draw 2. So Gohan really committing to the game plan. Gotta try to kill the Zamasu as fast as possible. Because they have the Z Uni in play basically at all times, you do probably want to side in Hunt, or if you're red, the King Vegeta counters. Can't use Hunt until the opponent's at 4, but starting to get home, obviously 4 and later becomes really big if they try to free cast Dormant. And we're going to get the Gohan Monkey now. So not restanding the 8-drop is going to be double bad here because he is now stunned, specifically unable to switch to active mode for a turn by the monkey. So you lose out on that restand and all of next turn's swing. Plus just a good, I believe, 20k dual attack body there for yellow. I think you can only play it if you have a yellow battle card in play, so obviously condition was met, but a bit of a niche card you don't see a lot of. And now, yeah, we're going to winding that back. I think the discussion here is that the 8-drop is still indestructible. He was swinging into the 8-drop there. So yellow obviously can set up Mighty Blast and has things like Final Flash to blink the indestructible. But yeah, we just walked that back. He's going to come at the leader now. Zom is playing with a little bit of fire now, going down to 3. Able to combo out here, set up more Goku Blacks. So a lot of these Zamasu decks also will run Cell Max, slam down Cell Max on turn 4 for 4. You start milling your opponent out, maybe, if you're paying attention, maybe hit some of their defense. You also, like I said, can pop off and go a bit aggro early. So you have a chance just to swing for game with Cell Max in situations like this. So the 4-drop also just mills one itself. We did have a misplay here, so opponent slams Floodgate. Pretty sure that Floodgate was coming down right away regardless. The swinging Zamasu just would not have gotten the pump and the crit there because you have an evolved Zamasu in play, not a Union Katara. So just a small interaction to remember for Zamasu. Uni does uptick off the play. So Gohan in a good spot here, minus the mill, not in any danger. Aggressively, we're going to have another Zam Katara from the drop. So it happens real quick, but you have the Uni free playing a battle card and then fusing Goku Blacks from the drop. It's another draw 2 and mill. So Zam not worried about dealing damage at all here. Tapping the Unison as a cost for the riposte to swing into the Ape. Force the opponent to either defend or lose the card, and then you can just go ahead and proc the Act Main on that guy, Z-charge the Goku Black, and pop a battle card, not ignoring barrier. But that's a nice plus there. You do draw 2 off the Uni, you mill your opponent, swing into a card, make him defend it, and then just kill it anyway. This Gohan deck has a lot of cool things going for it. You don't always want to slam down that 3-cost Uni. There's a lot of decks that are just going to be too fast for you to get away with that, with Pan and a lot of the black aggro, but if you're able to get it down, it does hit a surprising amount of cards. If you do get it down and are able to live through it, it does blank pretty much everything in Pan's deck. Pretty sure actually earlier that the day of this recording, this Gohan deck was able to beat a really good Pan deck at our local. Gohan's got a lot of energy, not a big board. You gotta probe out. So obviously not getting the 5k pump, that's just a 10k swing, but you gotta probe out defense from Zam. Zam isn't gonna negate here. And you get the ability for the skillless guys to boost them up and go crit with that Pan. So Gohan taking advantage of the lack of response from the unsuspecting 10k. It's going to pop off here for, I believe, it becomes 30k crit. Zam does not want to burn 4 cards getting out of that. Just going to eat it. And it does hit a negate. It's a good swing for Gohan there. I think we saw it get milled earlier, but you do still have access as a yellow to, is now limited, but the Goku Multiple Awakenings, it is just still 1 energy, kill something in rest mode, ignoring barrier. We're going to get the Oceanus Floodgate here. There's more synergy with your Goku Black fusion engine. You discard for the Floodgate, get rid of a Goku Black, fuse it later. You set up a blocker that doesn't help a whole lot with yellow. But Gohan has filtered a lot and has already been hit pretty decently with the mill. I don't think you want to start pushing through. Milling 4 per attack here. Even with Zamasu at 2 life, we're going to see another skill drain Uni comes down. Also does let you, I forgot to mention earlier, free play 2 of the skills Gohans from your drop, and then boost them up by 5. So you pay 3, create 3 15k bodies, and like I mentioned, skill drain the opponent. Zamasu finally able to kind of regain control, down big in life, but does not care about that a whole lot here. You have a blocker set up, you have your uni ability, create another blocker live. You can just go dormant, blocker, set up another blocker, block the next attack. Obviously yellow can tap things down, but you just go dormant, negate the next attack. Probably safe for one more turn. You're just going to pour on the mill here. 8-drop is finally able to restand and still has his second ability live. You gotta expect Nimbus or potentially the Vegito I mentioned earlier because of the skill drain can kind of skirt around that. But Zamasu's got a lot of bodies to swing here before he's even gonna start paying for anything. We do get a Nimbus. That is reasonable. So Zam's got at least, if you're willing to combo onto your uni, at least 2 more attacks to try to take out the 3-cost Unison over there. I mentioned earlier you got a blocker and the ability to set up another blocker. So swing leader, draw a card, set up a potential double strike snipe with the 8-drop. That is what we'll see. Then we get time magic. One of the benefits of playing against Mill, time magic, if you draw into it, pretty much always alive for the sparking effect. Now we almost saw another 1-drop come from the uni there, but instead we're going to fuse into... I think he might be debating whether or not he wants to just pay 1 for that card later and not have its skills blanked. You only have so many in the Z deck. Probably run 4, but already seen a few come and go. We'll get another draw to Mill 5-drop Zamasu. Leader Mill is obviously not once per turn. Now we're setting up a Mighty Blast. So that's just extra defense for Zamasu in case things go awry. I don't believe we've seen a Dormant yet. So that's probably the reason for the Mighty Blast there. And then yeah, 8-drop comes down, replaces itself, I believe is a Mill 3, and a KO something. So I'm clinging to those 2 life, Gohan deck count getting pretty low. Now for your Zom, you either gotta definitely mill out your opponent here or just pass and set up the best defense you can, but you don't want to tap out and risk the potential counter against a free casted Dormant. None of these Zamasu cards are limit 1. I think maybe the 8-drop is. The secondary skills on them all are, but as long as you have the fusion materials, you just slam them down all turn long. So another misplay, setting up the Mighty Blast earlier. Well, I guess you did set up the Goku Black Diffuse, but no more fusion pieces in the drop. I think it's right to just pass there either way with the 1 energy up. You need to be able to defend yourself. Probably not getting home off 1 more mill, but next turn, as long as you live, you're in the clear. You can't tell from the video, Gohan's got to be clinging to like 8 or 10 cards left in deck. Discard pile is looking pretty big. So again, the Uni is able to create free bodies. And there you go, so it's a fun combo. You have your Unison blanking 5-drops, and then the baby Vegeta can now come in and target the 2 8-drops on the board, and now nothing has skills or can attack next turn. And I forgot to mention earlier that Oceanus does not get the blocker skill. The Floodgate was live earlier because it's part of the counter skill, so not affected by the on-play drain from the Uni, but does not actually have blocker at the moment. Now, interesting enough, tokens, because of the way it's worded, having a cost of nothing, will still be able to create themselves and have blocker from token negate. And if you're Gohan, you're thinking you gotta just get home and get the kill here. Going in as hard as he can here on the double strike. I don't think Zamasu has had any copies of Dormant here. Didn't have more Oceanus, so you gotta combo out here and hope and pray that you get into some other kind of defense. Yeah, no reason not to combo Oceanus. Floodgate is dead, and the blocker is no longer live because of the Uni. Comboing the Zamasus because they can't attack here because of the baby and the Unison, and if you're Zamasu, you're just going for mill next turn. You do not have to kill your opponent. So bodies on board that can't be evolved on top of can be comboed. Now Body Blast able to kill a potential blocker there too. Zamasu does combo out. Took a lot of cards to get there. Plenty of Goku Blacks in your drop now. Z energy doesn't matter. You're not playing red. Power levels don't matter. Now, can Gohan get home here? We still haven't seen any kind of Floodgate. 3 energy to play with, but this deck does run a little bit on either tiny skillless cards or there's a double strike Gohan that can evolve. I think killing the other Gohan with Mighty Blast was a big deal there. I can imagine potentially paying 1. You can see the Gohan, her Higher Dragon and the energy can come down for 1 with double strike. Now Gohan does have a Z leader that I believe can go double strike. So Zamasu not out of the woods just yet. Gohan smartly going after the double strike. Gohan was able to draw into another King Piccolo. So Piccolo normally able to KO something. Doesn't get the on play here as I mentioned, but is just a hard negate. Z leader. Getting you another body there that... And here we are. We got that Gohan right back. Able to slap another double strike body on top of it. A lot of synergy, a lot of filtering, and a lot of pressure out of this Gohan deck. You still have all of your good generic yellow staples. Zamasu must have drawn into a token negate there. And I mentioned earlier, Unison doesn't actually stop the blocker on the token. So, playing into 1 life, but does now actually have a blocker in play. And so the leader is able to restand himself. And honestly, I think if Gohan just sets up the Mighty Blast here and taps down the token blocker, you probably get home with your last swing, but we don't see that. We're going to get the leader blocked. And the reason the Zamasu Z uni never triggered itself because of the Baby Vegeta blanking the skills, they, I believe, are not able to gain skills on top of that. They can technically gain the skill, but then the skills are still blanked, so not able to proc the uni, set up a blocker there. But drew into just enough defense. Gohan, not out of gas yet, but trying to, at the very least, take away as much of Zamasu's hand as possible. Everything is lethal here, being at 1 life. And Zamasu able to wiggle out. Gohan deck is very low. So still can't attack with anything because of Baby. So the Unison blanking things and Baby saying can't attack with anything without skills. All Zom has to do is just get a few mills off here though. I can't quite tell again, but it can't be more than maybe 5, 7 cards in the deck there for Gohan. And another thing worth mentioning too, one of the Zamasu cards also just rips markers off a uni. We didn't see that come up here, but could have dealt with the Unison a lot easier with just the in-archetype Zamasu Mill stuff. Definitely still learning the deck here, but taking the opponent down to, we can see now 3 cards left. Got the A-drop in hand, and that should be game. Didn't tap for the first, but tapping now. And then, yeah, E-drop comes down. And that will wrap it up, I believe. KO something, mill 2, and then mill 1 off the leader. So a grindy matchup. Gohan almost got there, just barely, not enough gas in the end. Thank you everybody for watching.